Hi everyone and welcome back to another Supernatural review, and this is season 7 episode 23, Survival of the Fittest. If you're new here, I do a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. This is the finale, season 7 finale, but it actually didn't feel too much like a finale. It actually feels just like a regular episode, and I feel like it didn't feel enough. Like, it didn't feel like there was enough there going on. And I feel like if it was a regular episode, it would be a good episode. Like, this episode was concrete, you know, very serialized, obviously, but I think it made sense. A lot of the things made sense, and it just kind of went its way, and it had kind of a cliffhanger situation at the end, which I guess is what season finales are supposed to do. So, you know, usually even in episodes that feel very serialized, usually there is some kind of solution at the end. They don't usually end on cliffhanger, so maybe like that's the difference. It didn't feel like it was enough. Like, didn't feel like there was enough happening. And then, you know, how they like broke in and found Dick Roman, like it kind of felt a little bit too easy. And the whole like blood with Crowley thing too was like so easy. Like, it actually was Crowley's blood, and like I don't know if there was anything you could really do with it, because if it wasn't Crowley blood, then they wouldn't be able to defeat him, so it had to be Crowley's blood. But it just felt like it wasn't like the stakes were too high. Like, it just whatever. But it's really crazy like what the Leviathans are doing, like what they're planning, you know, their purpose of the United States. It kind of gives a little bit Handmaid's Tale, but it's kind of crazy that we kind of just like brush over it. Like, they don't make too much big a deal of it, I think, because we know we're gonna defeat them or whatever. But it's actually like so crazy what they're planning, and in the end, like, he needed to be defeated and all this stuff. And Bobby was let go as a ghost, which also didn't feel like a big thing. Like, I feel like they kind of just like let him go easy, and I feel like we also didn't see totally him being let go, so maybe they were like didn't want to show it fully in case they did want to bring him back. You know, him possessing that woman's body, that maid, like you would think it, I think like I would prefer to see like some big thing, like Bobby's turned into a bad ghost and then they have to like try to stop him. Like, I feel like that could have been like a cool episode where Bobby you know, turns into a bad ghost and like it's them having to stop him, instead of like this kind of like easy, like let's just burn the flask. Like, it ended up being like not that big a deal. But I don't know if it's just something where it didn't feel right, or they didn't want Bobby's like last thing to end this way and they wanted to be positive spirits, because we will see Bobby in future seasons. I'm not sure how. There's different ways, you know, ghost again or flashback or whatever it might be. So maybe they didn't want to end Bobby with a bad light, but I feel like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to see that. So Dean ends up in purgatory with Cass, and that's where they end up. I feel like it wasn't clear before what purgatory was. Like, oh, this is where the monsters go when they die. Like, we have heaven and hell and purgatory. And it's something too where there's so many different interpretations of heaven and hell and purgatory and all these things that, you know, Supernatural takes one interpretation. So like from what I'm known of purgatory, like that's not where the monsters go. It's kind of like an in-between state, but for the sake of Supernatural, they made it that's where the monsters go. And so it's interesting because we never seen one of the Winchesters get trapped in heaven or hell, you know, not even just at the end of a season, like in an episode. So it's kind of interesting to see Dean kind of trapped in purgatory, and it kind of answers all these questions, like if he dies in purgatory, like will he actually die in real life? How does he get out of purgatory? Why did Cass kind of leave him? And so that's kind of like the cliffhanger they ended it on, where it's like that's where we kind of start next season, is Dean in purgatory and like his way of getting out. So, you know, we have a lot of seasons where it's like one of the Winchester dies at the end of the season, and so although it's like not to that level, like it kind of like is like really big, and like for Sam's sake, he doesn't know exactly like what happened to Dean. He might think he's dead. So it is like a really big cliffhanger, and it is a way to end the season, you know, for people to be interested in the next season. But again, like I just feel like the episode like wasn't enough. Like the stakes weren't really high enough. Like I feel like the season 5 finale, you know, there's a lot happening, everything. Season 6, I don't even know what's happening, but a lot of finales, like it's just like a lot more happening, and I feel like this one didn't have enough happening. And they kind of also ended it with like Crowley kind of being like kind of evil again. Like Crowley's always kind of been evil, but it's like it's something where I feel like the writers don't exactly know what they can do with that, with like the demons having so much power and all that stuff. And so they just make it that they have this power, but then we don't get an explanation. Like we still don't know what their plan is. I feel like the writers did a really good job of like the Leviathans, like this is their plan. Their plan is they want to eat, so they make humans bigger, and then, you know, breeding as well, so there's more humans, like all these things, like they had a plan, and we got to see it, and like it's actually interesting, and like I kind of wanted to hear more about their plans. Like it's also weird that they were like, let's kill like the thin people instead of like maybe using them for breeding. Like I don't know, but it's something where it's like there's no clear plan for the demons. But I think they also, you know, we have the purgatory ending, Dean ending up in purgatory, and I think they wanted to end something else, so they had this thing with the demons, and like Carly has, you know, Kevin, so maybe Sam will want to get Kevin back, and you know, whatever. So anyway, they ended up with some things, so I feel like in the end, like it was a solid episode, solid for a finale. Could have done more. So I'm gonna end here, but thank you guys for watching, and that was season 7, and then we'll get into season 8. And so I guess, are we technically halfway there, more than halfway there? I don't know, but season 8, here we go. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.